Thank you, Mr. Ma. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, we can clap for Mr. Ma. Telling you, I wasn't sure what this is going to look like, and it's awesome. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to North Shore's commencement ceremony, COVID style. You all look amazing from here, even though it looks a little bit like the parking lot at the 7 Mile Fair at the end of the day. This is a trailblazing class in many ways. So as I look out at the rows of cars in this totally atypical graduation, I think to myself, yeah, it all makes sense. This is the group that would mix it up, that would blaze a new trail. Yet nothing really seems to make sense these days, so I'm just going to roll with it. We're very excited to have you all with us today as we honor the class of 2020. I'll be back a little later, but now I'd like to introduce Callie FLANNERSTILL, whose birthday is today, who is our senior class speaker. Callie?
Hello, everyone. First off, I would like to thank all of the people who made this graduation ceremony possible for us today. We know that this is a very difficult and complicated time for everyone, and the class of 2020 and our families greatly appreciate everyone taking the time to give us one last moment to be together and celebrate our 4 years of high school. It means so much to all of us. As we are finally ready to head off to college and start a brand new chapter of our life, we must stop and think about how we have gotten to this monumental moment. Our personal growth from freshman year to now is what will allow us to be successful in the future. Life is continuously moving, but these crazy past 4 years call for 1 minute to celebrate how far we have come, just one last time. When I think about the class of 2020, I think of our firsts and our lasts. The moments that, looking back on, leave us either smiling, uncontrollably laughing, or in tears. Whether it be the first day of school, the first class, the first day of preseason, the first day of rehearsal, or the last day of high school, the last class, the last game, the last show, or even the last time we sat at the bottom of the V together, these are the moments that we will both remember and be remembered for. The unique twist on our moments that we call our lasts is that we never knew they were going to end the way that they did. It is hard to move past the idea of why it all had to end this way. That is something I continuously asked myself the last 2 years of high school. Why did this happen? After my mom had passed on July 2nd, 2018, I thought about all of my final moments with her. Our last fight, our last hug, and biggest of all, our last goodbye. I wanted to forget these. They made me too sad and too angry. At the time, I thought I should only remember the fun or normal days we had spent together. Little did I know that that was never going to work, because no matter how hard we try to cherish our first experiences and hate the last, there is an undisguised beauty in both. All of these memories, no matter where they fit in on our timeline, have all shaped us into the intelligent and wonderful people that are graduating here today. All of our memories have contributed to what our high school experience was like and what we will talk about it like years after this moment. The fact that our last few moments together never happened should not take away from the one-of-a-kind memories we had that we created earlier. Our first day of school will be just as meaningful as our unexpected last, and that is because we approached both like the class that we are. As all of us know, our class has a pretty unique vibe to it. There were moments when none of us really got along, but there were also moments when we were having the time of our lives together. Despite all of our differences, this group of people is truly special. When we want to see a change, we speak up. If we have new ideas, we try to incorporate them somehow. If we have a goal, we do everything we can to reach it. Our ability to do all of these things show the true difference we will make once we close this chapter of our lives and move on to college and even further into the future. Both the emotional and physical success that this class has had within the realm of athletics, academics, and the arts can all attest to the character behind each and every one of us. Our ability to come together as one when we needed it is what allowed us to create the impact we did and should all be proud of. The people in this class are such a fundamental role in making what the North Shore community is and has been, along with coaches, teachers, administration, and other students. It's a community that takes care of their own above all else, and that is apparent every day. October 5th, 2018 is a special day for me, the first Dig Pink volleyball match without my mom. As I stood on the gym floor alongside my dad and two sisters, I knew that I did not have enough strength to pick myself up. I felt my body being held up by my dad as I just continued to sob. The initial ugliness of this moment reminds me of the first months after she had passed. All you thought about was wanting to go back to how things were. At this moment, I felt like I was going to fail, fall flat on my face, and there was nothing I could do to stop it. Like I could not accomplish playing in a game, which is something I had done since I was 10 years old because I was just too scared of what was going to happen. As the speech finished and I was nowhere near composed, I looked to both my left and to my right. To my left was my team, who at this point I like to refer to as my group of sisters. And then to my right was a sight I had never once seen before, accompanied by a new feeling for me. Everyone in that packed gym was there for one reason and one reason only, and that was to honor my mom and support me and my family. The moment where I was not comfortable enough to do something I loved so much was completely fixed by the support of the North Shore community. It did not matter if the people in the room disagreed about something or did not get along, because in that moment, everyone in that gym was together as one. The loud bursts of cheers, the hugs before and after the game, and the last huddle with my team all showcase the sense of family that was in the electric atmosphere of the MAC gym that evening. To be in such a vulnerable state, yet feel so protected by an entire community, goes to show how the support here will forever be unmatched. Everything about what makes up this place is so very special and truly one of a kind. One of my favorite quotes is, "What if I fall, but darling, what if you fly?" In the moments that we feel like we are going to fall, we are picked up by the people that know we are capable of getting through any obstacle in our path. And that is how I can describe that night to all of you. As I reflect on this moment almost 2 years later, I am able to see such a beautiful memory that stays crystal clear in my mind despite the terrible circumstances. And that is because of the people. It's always because of the people. As we move on to college, I encourage us to be the people that our teachers, families, and friends have seen us grow to be. To be the people that helped my family in the gym that night and ever since then. To be the people that our little buddies look up to and want to spend time with. We have all been so fortunate to be surrounded by role models that have been so heavily involved in our high school experience, and now it is our turn to do the same. I remember one day after school, I was in a meeting with Madame McKenna, clearly upset, and she hugged me and said, "I got you. We got you." That one sentence is something I replay in my head from time to time. This is who we want to be as this journey comes to a close and the next one just begins. The people that truly care, the people that want to help, the people that are ready to take the world by storm. So now, We stand here where our time has officially come to an end. Some of us wish we could have just one more minute together. Some of us are happy about today's celebration, and some of us are unsure of this entire thing. That's okay, and that makes sense. The uncertainty that comes with so much transition makes everyone feel something different, but know that we are ready. North Shore's impact will continue to guide all 52 of us each and every day once we step off this campus. The memories we made with each other will make us smile when we need it, and biggest of all, our hearts are full knowing that these past 4 years were absolutely unforgettable. On the last card my mom gave to me, it says, "Callie Grace, you will never let me down. XOXO Mom." The next chapters of our lives are meant to be adventurous, new, and one of a kind. If I could leave saying one last thing to all of you, it would be this. Don't live life afraid of making mistakes or falling down. There will always be people there to support you, love you, and who are proud of you. That is who all of you have been for me. The possibilities in our lives are endless, so be spontaneous, have fun, take risks, and make your life what you want it to be. North Shore will always be home. The community here will always be family, and this grade will always be something special. So, to the class that truly deserves to have it all, here's to us.
To say that Mr. Curran is a great teacher would be an understatement. He's an educator, a role model, and an inspiring individual. My 3-year tenure as a student, I've had my ups and downs, but the growth I've seen within myself throughout my time at North Shore is due in large part to his leadership. My sophomore year, he taught me the importance of staying diligent and valuing hard work. In 11th grade, he showed me the blessings that Americans are born with and how lucky we are to be living in a great country. And this year, Mr. Curran taught me that the smallest details can leave a lasting impression on both my work and character. And I know I'm not the only student that Mr. Curran has inspired. To all my friends who have had him as a teacher, I know you feel the same way. And to those that haven't, you missed out. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome the legend himself, the man that has had an impact on both my life and the lives of countless others, Tim Curran.
You have to indulge me in this one comment really quickly. When I was thinking about this moment and just imagining looking at all these cars, I just can't not say what I'm about to say. Gentlemen, start your engines. Sorry. Let me start by saying what a tremendous honor it is to be chosen to speak at the commencement ceremony for the class of 2020. I can think of no other place I'd rather be than sharing this moment with all of you right here, right now. Again and again, you've proven yourselves to be a tough, hard-working, and resilient bunch. That drive helped you accomplish great things in the classroom, the athletic field, and on stage. In fact, I can't think of another class during my 17 years working here at North Shore that has achieved the same level of individual and group accolades as the class of 2020. I think it's safe for me to say that this ceremony was probably not plan A for capping off a year-long celebration of North Shore Centennial. I also know for a fact that for many of you, especially the lifers, this is definitely not what you were expecting when we all met at the Evanston Public Library back in August for Orientation Day. And it isn't just commencement that has changed. You missed out on prom, your spring sports seasons, and even having the opportunity to hang out with your friends in the senior homeroom during the final weeks of school. It isn't fair that you had to miss out on all these things, and for that, I am really sorry. However, one of the most important lessons I have learned during my 54 years on planet Earth is that frequently things don't go as planned. In fact, in my experience, Plan A rarely comes to fruition, and even when it does, it doesn't turn out the way you expected. Perhaps reflecting on North Shore Centennial is an excellent way for us to put this current situation in perspective. The COVID-19 pandemic isn't the first time our school community has faced a significant challenge since it officially opened its doors in October of 1919. After recently exploring North Shore's online archives, shout out to North Shore's archivist Sierra Erazo for her help, I found some interesting stories told by North Shore alumni who also came of age during times of national crisis. One source came from an interview with Dr. Knight Aldrich, class of 1931. In it, he explains that when his father lost his real estate business due to the stock market crash of 1929, his family doubted whether he could attend North Shore because they were struggling to make ends meet. Dr. Aldrich goes on to share that his family was by no means alone in facing this crisis. He talks about one classmate whose father took his own life after losing all of his financial assets in the stock market crash. When entering the auditorium, perhaps you've noticed the names written around the door leading to the Science Center. These are North Shore alumni who died fighting in World War II and the Korean War. There's a video in the archives where Bud and Chuck Goodrich, class of 1938, describe what these men were like when they were students here. Like you, they look forward to competing in sports, participating in the annual school musical, and most of all, making fun of their teachers. Also like you, the individuals of this generation, what Tom Brokaw called the greatest generation, faced a world of uncertainty after their graduation. They didn't ask for these formidable challenges, but they confronted them anyway. They didn't have a choice. I think North Shore teaches us that no matter what happens, we don't have to face the future alone. We reinforce the importance of community so frequently here that perhaps to you it's become cliche. Maybe we use the term a little too much, but that doesn't take away from the fundamental truth that strong communities support all of its members. When talking about the scholarship he received to attend North Shore, Knight Aldrich shared that he never found out who subsidized his tuition payments to the school during his father's unemployment, but he was pretty sure it was Perry Dunlop Smith. My own two sons, Austin and William, they both benefited from the relationships they forged here with their teachers and their coaches. In fact, I think it's safe to say that they each received invaluable mentorship from the adults in this community that helped them develop the skills and confidence to pursue their career goals. As a parent, I can't thank my colleagues enough for everything that they provided to my boys. It was like winning the lottery. However, it's important that we remember that the community dynamic goes both ways. We benefit from our connections with others, but we are also obligated to reach out and help those less fortunate than ourselves. To me, live and serve is an essential component of the social contract that recognizes the importance of promoting the common good. Perhaps that's the biggest lesson of the COVID-19 crisis. We wear masks and practice social distancing, not necessarily for our own safety, for the safety of the more vulnerable members of our community. This pandemic has exacerbated systemic inequalities in American society, taking a disproportionate toll on low-income Americans, people of color, and others who were already marginalized long before this crisis hit. But the work of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. reminds us that all of humanity is connected, whether we realize it or not. During the last Christmas sermon he would deliver to the congregation at the Ebenezer Baptist Church, Dr. King said that all life is interrelated. We are all caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied into a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. The murder of George Floyd and the demonstrations that have erupted all over our country in response provides clear evidence to me that many in a position of power and privilege still haven't learned this lesson. It is my hope that in the years ahead, you will follow through with our school's pledge to live and serve by working to undo the systemic inequalities that continue to plague our nation and our world. Unfortunately, we live in a divisive era that makes it difficult to forge the connections necessary for healthy communities to function. We each live in our own information silos that only share ideas in which we feel comfortable. This wasn't possible when I graduated from high school in 1984 because the sources available to us were limited. Today, it's all too easy to find sites online that parrot our own ideas back at us, working only to confirm our own worldview. This is a dangerous trap that we all have to avoid if we want to build healthier communities. When my niece Grace was in college, she had a classmate named Zachary Wood, who garnered national attention for inviting controversial speakers to campus. Even though he often disagreed strongly with the ideas some of these speakers promoted, he invited them to speak on campus anyway, a course of action that led to a lot of backlash by some of his classmates. He states in the TED Talk he delivered about these efforts, tuning out opposing viewpoints doesn't make them go away because millions of people agree with them. By engaging with controversial ideas, I believe that we can find common ground, if not with the speakers themselves, then with the audiences they attract or indoctrinate. Through engaging, I believe we can reach a deeper understanding of our own beliefs and preserve the ability to solve problems, which we can't do if we don't talk to each other and make an effort to be good listeners. I believe that healthy communities are like healthy ecosystems. They thrive on diversity. However, this can only work if each one of us is willing to reach out to our neighbors and welcome them into our universe of obligation. Our nation obviously faces some significant challenges in the years ahead, but the class of 2020 has already demonstrated their commitment to take these head on. You understand that the best way to fight for positive change is to apply a collaborative approach to leadership that leverages the assets already present in our communities. You rallied your classmates and teachers to nurture our school's long-standing relationship with local groups like the Northwestern Settlement House and Hilda's Place. You also forged connections with national organizations like the Alzheimer's Foundation, Dig Pink, and Camp Kassem. The senior service projects you just finished demonstrated your willingness to apply your own interests and passions to the mission of service. Some of you focused on those in your own neighborhood who may be struggling with social isolation or taking care of their regular household chores. Others made personal protective equipment for those who need it or organized a variety of environmental restoration projects. As I said earlier, you're a tough bunch who isn't afraid to work hard in order to achieve your goals, traits that you will definitely need to tackle the problems that plague our republic. However, I think it's critically important that, in the words of Reverend Victoria Safford, we plant ourselves at the gates of hope, even though we are living in a time that might invite pessimism and despair. 3 years before the fall of the communist dictatorship that oppressed his country for decades, former President Václav Havel wrote, "Hope is not prognostication. It is an orientation of the spirit, an orientation of the heart." In closing, I want to finish by channeling my inner Mr. Keating and read a poem by Walt Whitman that addresses the question of life's purpose. O me, O life, of the questions of these recurring, of the endless trains of the faithless, of cities filled with the foolish, of myself forever reproaching myself, because for who more foolish than I, and who more faithless? Of eyes that vainly crave the light, of the objects mean, of the struggle ever renewed, of the poor results of all, of the plotting and sordid crowds I see around me, of the empty and useless years of the rest, with the rest me intertwined. The question, oh me, so sad recurring, what good among these, oh me, oh life? Answer, that you are here, that life exists, and identity, that the powerful play goes on, and you may contribute a verse. Thank you again for choosing me to be your commencement speaker. It is a tremendous honor that I will treasure for the rest of my life. Go Raiders!
It is now my distinct honor to present the class of 2020. Okay, here we go. Gerald Alexander LEESCH. KATHRYN CARY Black. Luke George ATIA. PHOEBE LAURE Casey. Joy Joe. Isabella BYERIE Cho. Ellen Jane Flannery. Take your time. Sebastian Kittredge ISASI. Theodore Brooks Wilson. William Alexander Winslow. So please now join me in acknowledging and celebrating our new graduates as they return to the cars. EDITH NAOMI EDWARDS-MIZEL. Will Lawrence NIEMANN. Alexandra Byrne Morgan. Tyler Ross Doornweerd. Jacqueline Josephine Turner. Isabel Emily Dart. Callie Grace Fannerstill. Caroline Elizabeth Siegel. Marion Lewis Hunt III. William McAvoy Huff. DeMonte Marquise Collins. Now join me in recognizing our new graduates as they work their way back to the cars. Brenton Lawrence Roberts. You're welcome. Gabrielle Jordan Kaplinski. Riley Cameron Jones. Allison Jewel McEwen. It's Daniel. Daniel Michael Roosevelt. Okay. Peyton Sidney Anderson. Adam Victor Terhart. Ashley Nicole Cotter. Mara Lane Markowitz. Now join me in recognizing our next new group of graduates. Elise Ann Gupta. Julia Grace Fortier. Grace Elizabeth Bartell. Imad Haitham Vora. Isa Mansour Amin. Claire Elizabeth Umpleby. Emily Miri Cho. Henry Nathan Echt. Justin Edward Udarian. Zoe Isabella Perrin Bogan. Please join me now in recognizing our next group of graduates. Alexandra Madison Charnas. Trevor Richards Hayward. Michael William Canman. Eloise Leahy Richardson. Jonathan Ramirez. Alexandra Grace Kerrigan. William Andrew Pappas. Sophia Mariam Belibus. Colin Sullivan Norton. Evan Jacob Fedden. Claudette Ishimwe Kanindi. Please now join me in congratulating our final group of graduates right here.
So we're going to go a little off script here while this beautiful light is shining and Mr. Young has the drone up in the air. If all the graduates and if the families want, could you lean out your windows or your sunroofs and wave up at the drone and cheer all at once, please? Horns are good too. All right. Well, that was something. You did it. We did it. I'm so glad that we're all here together today for so many reasons. Because it's always important to be together, to see each other even if we're distant, because you deserve your moment in the sun. And I'll admit that I have a personal soft spot for this class, because so many of you arrived when I did in the fall of 2016. We all did upper school together for the first time. A few housekeeping remarks before I dive in. First, I want you to hear from me that a lot of people went to an awful lot of trouble to pull this ceremony off. I can't name them all, but I want to particularly acknowledge the grounds crew, the parking crew, Dr. Potter, Mrs. Aston, Ms. Gallagher, Mr. Pecha, Mr. Gruber, and Mrs. Leonetti, who did the banners on the way in. In particular, yeah, we can honk for them. In particular, it was Mrs. Hooper who actually took the idea of this ceremony and made it real. Without her and without all of the rest of these folks, we'd all be on Zoom right now. So let's take a minute and give them a few more honks of the horn to say thanks. Also, a note that we've worked hard to retain many of the traditions of a North Shore graduation, even as we've had to pivot a bit. And for you, that means the speakers and the music, and for me, that means the jacket that I'm wearing today. This brightly colored coat for me is part of a very personal tradition. You've actually gotten off easy this year, because this one is actually more palatable than some of the others. You see, my father died when I was 18, and I've inherited a large number of his colorful jackets. They were sort of his calling card. So for each of my 17 years at Hotchkiss, and then for my last 3 years here at North Shore, I've chosen one of my dad's jackets each graduation, found the tie that matched, sort of, and honored him while I honored the students in the ceremony. It became my own quiet personal tradition, the opportunity to reflect on the role that he played in my life. I share the story as a reminder that we each inhabit our own quiet spaces, even in these most public of moments. And I know you're all in a car right now, so your spaces are a little more contained than the auditorium would have been, but I hope you find some time today or tonight or tomorrow for some of that reflection yourself. And boy, do you have a lot to reflect upon. It's been a long time in this country since graduating classes have launched into a world of such uncertainty, even distress. You are seeing now things that no one has quite ever seen before, especially in combination, from global pandemics to civil unrest to political polarization. Who would have ever imagined a drive-in graduation with masks? But perhaps there's some sort of kismet to the fact that you are the class of 2020. As you know, 2020 vision is exceptional vision. And not only are you an exceptional class, but the experiences you've had in these formative years of your life will, I know, provide you with some insight and some perspective and some vision into the world and how it works. Vision that not all graduating classes will have. Adversity can do that sometimes, and we've all faced our own levels of higher than normal adversity this spring. In the long run, I'm optimistic that these hard times will ultimately have a positive influence on you graduates as you're faced with the fragility and uncertainty of life, perhaps at an earlier age than you might have otherwise. You have lived through and are living through remarkable times. As a teacher and a parent, as a historian, I can attest to the fact that the unique confluence of social, political, technological, economic, and epidemiological winds that buffet us right now are unique and unprecedented. No one can see clearly right now. No adults have all the answers. I have none. But when I note your 2020 vision, I do believe that the 52 of you, as you leave this place, have the tools, should you choose to use them, to sharpen your focus, put your shoulder to the wheel, and work for a better world. Here I will credit your teachers as well, who have taught you not only to think, but to care, as Mr. Curran told us earlier. The answers we need as a society and as a world will come through clear thinking and rational, data-driven analysis, to be sure. But they alone, crucial as they are, will not save us. We also need to bring heart and empathy to our collective work as a society and world. You have shown us already that you have absorbed that lesson at North Shore when you've spent your time organizing Dunk Alls or Dig Pink, volunteering at Hilda's Place, engaging in house discussions, marching to protest this or support that. When you embraced your buddy with all your heart, even during remote learning, you were living and modeling the whole child education that this place was founded upon. It was supposedly Aristotle who said, educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. It's my hope that we've helped do both in your time here, whether you've been here 14 years or 2. But ultimately, you must decide individually if and how you will carry both into the world and live and serve. So perhaps your vision is above average, if not 20/20, and you will have some of the answers that we need. But remember also to be humble. None of us sees the world with complete clarity. I don't subscribe personally to the hogwash that there are no facts anymore, but I have learned through my own studies, and I see every day on the news and in my own life, that our interpretations of facts vary and shape our worldviews, especially when technology allows us to live in our own personal echo chambers. Fight the urge to silo yourself. Seek your own answers and speak your own truth, but do it with the intellectual and personal humility to listen more than you speak, to cast a wide net in your reading and your acquaintances, and use your 2020 vision to fight for right and for those who need help. You've been tested in remarkable ways and you've done amazing things. Keep your faith in each other and in the world. You have put your mark on this place forever. Do the same when you leave. And so in closing, my other personal tradition is a closing quote by one of Illinois' favorite sons, Adlai Stevenson. His words were part of the tradition at my college commencement that I'm glad to continue. And Stevenson said, "Your days are short here. This is the last of your springs. And now, in the serenity and quiet of this lovely place, touch the depths of truth. Feel the hem of heaven. You will go away with old, good friends. And don't forget when you leave why you came." I truly hope that you found what you came for at North Shore, and many more things beyond that. Take what you've learned, go forth, and share your talents joyfully. Connect with others and nurture those around you. Live and serve. Make us proud. And now, as we wrap up our centennial celebration and we end the most unique graduation ceremony in our long history, a few more instructions. First, I invite you to lower your windows and join us in singing "Wake the Echoes." The words are on your program and on the screen, and after that, I'll have some final instructions for our recessional. Mr. Ma? Wake the echoes, wake the echoes, along the old North Shore. We'll make them sing around, and sing as never before. Here's to North Shore, dear North Shore, shall always stand for right, and we will stand forever for the purple and the white. Thank you, Mr. Ma. Thank you, everyone. So here's how we're going to do this. If I could ask in the back, the faculty and the staff to leave first, and please make their way to the circle and park on the outside circle of that lot. Once all of the faculty and staff are out, we are going to release you row by row. And we ask as you come out and go around the snack shack that you drive around the whole circle where your teachers are going to be there waiting to cheer for you one last time as you drive out. So this is going to take a few minutes. Please be patient as you've done a great job already because your teachers are really excited to send you off. So thank you again for all who helped to make this ceremony happen today and for rolling with all of these changes. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor to present to you the North Shore Country Day School graduating class of 2020. Have a great night, everyone. Be safe.